Many of us came as children, and now that many of us have children of our own, JFCS continues to help us by connecting us and our children with our Jewish heritage.
It's the holiday of Sukkot, and we had a gathering in the sukkah here with the whole families. And Rabbi Peretz makes it really fun for everybody involved, the kids and the adults, to learn about the lulav and the etrog and the history of the holiday, and then, of course, have some food.
This is the first time, actually, that my kids came to the sukkah, and I loved experiencing it through my children's eyes, hearing the rabbi show the tradition, following the rabbi. So I always love learning through my children's eyes. It's not comparable to anything.
I want to keep the Jewish culture, and I want my daughter Maya to have it as well. And because it's also organized with other, Russian immigrants, it made it easier for us to come and mingle. Primarily we speak Russian at home, so when my daughter comes here and plays with kids, I think for her it's also nice that she can speak Russian. She may find friends here.
It's actually very important for our son to speak our native language, Russian. Even to this day, some of our grandparents still don't speak English. So for them to communicate with our son and hopefully more kids one day, it will be very important for him so they can interact in Russian.
Here we go!
In addition to holidays and other gatherings, JFCS has opened the door for new parents like us to engage in meaningful discussions about our heritage, and to support one another in passing on our values, traditions, and language as we raise Jewish kids in America.
The whole world out here. I knew that I was Jewish not because of Jewish holidays, but because of, anti-Semitism. I mean, everybody in school, kind of pinpoints, like, he's Jewish, he's not Jewish.
I didn't really know I was Jewish. I think it wasn't an acknowledged identity for probably the majority of my life.
I always knew I was Jewish, but I, like you, I had no idea what it means. I remember, I always remember this, that I used to watch how my grandfather walked, and I noticed that he swung his arms more than other people, and I was like, oh, maybe that's what Jews do. I was always trying to figure out what is it that's making us different.
For me now, there's something inside of me, a calling, I can't say what it is, but wanting to feel closeness to my culture. And I think part of putting this together is for our kids, this is a great outlet for them to learn more about who we are.
November, I lost my husband. January, I lost my daughter. I have only one daughter. Oh, what a very hard time. Of course, I'm only 87 years old, and I have no the energy to go to the store. No Jewish family service, thanks God. They give me a lady, but she helped me 5 days a week. Jewish family service like to help me, to make me happy.
We're gonna say hello and introduce ourselves and give them the Hanukkah presents that are in this bag, so we can make them happy.
Hello!
Hi! My name is Isaac and Happy Hanukkah. My name is Betty, Happy Hanukkah.
My name is Claire. They sent me for Hanukkah a present, and the children, gorgeous. I never see children like this, very nice and very polite. The lady was absolutely gorgeous. The man, he told me he's from Russia.
Where are you originally from? Из Украины. С какого города? Одесса. Я из Кишинева.
I was very proud Jewish family service have people like this. They kiss me, they hug me. Amazing, amazing.
As our children grow older, they have a chance to join Youth First, a wonderful program through JFCS where they can join other teenagers from Emigre families, continue the Emigre heritage, speak Russian to each other, and volunteer in the community.
A lot of the teens here have relatives from the former Soviet Union, and that's a really empowering environment because I get to connect with these people who have similar background as me and get that emotional bond that you wouldn't get with other people. It all comes together and it turns into something really beautiful.
I'm a freshman at the University of San Francisco, and I work as a college intern here at JFCS Youth First. It's up to you as a group to decide who you want to help and then work your events around that. JFCS has been a great starting point for my career. For 6 weeks, I worked at a law firm in the JFCS Youth First Summer Internship Program, and the firm rehired me, and now I work there part-time. My parents came to the United States 20 years ago, and they came here with almost nothing, like many other immigrant families, and they worked extremely hard, and we are continuing their journey, and we'll tell our children their stories when they're older.
What I love the most about the Hanukkah parties is that I get to talk with people that are a couple generations ahead of me and have more wisdom, and that I can see these little details of cultural differences with old people, and I really enjoy that. I get another perspective of how life was then.
For my freshman year, I had to do a certain amount of community service hours, and I decided I definitely wanted to do something in the Jewish community. So I asked my dad if he had any ideas of what I could do. And he said, yeah, why don't you clean the synagogue? And I said, well, you see, that sounds pretty good, but do you have anything that might have a bigger impact? And that night, my dad called me and he said, Berta, I found you something. It's from the JFCS. It's called Youth First. When I first started doing community service with Youth First, I expected it to be pretty fulfilling, but not to the extent that it actually was. I was able to joke a little bit and have conversations with the elders. I feel better about myself, and it's very heartwarming. It means a lot to me to be able to share Judaism with all these elders. It was a very strong sense of community, and it was very beautiful.
Coming to a new country is difficult for anyone. For the elderly, it could be even more challenging. So it's wonderful that JFCS has a lot of young adult volunteers helping the elderly by giving them English classes, citizenship classes, and helping them assimilate in the community.
I do love teaching English to this group. They all have different levels of English comprehension, but it's been such a joy to see some of the students who really struggled at the beginning are starting to understand more and more specific concepts and even like the nuances of certain things. Correct. Good. So it has been very fulfilling. We're gonna play Jeopardy!
The biggest for 200.
The biggest for 200.
You spend a lot of time and energy. I want to know why you come to the class as a volunteer.
I enjoy giving back to the community. I enjoy speaking Russian with all of you. And because I'm Jewish, it is very nice for me to give back to my Jewish community.
Very, very nice. Приятно слышать.
I volunteer at Jewish Family and Children's Services because of my heritage. My great-grandmother was a Russian-speaking Jew living in Ukraine, and during a pogrom, she witnessed her own parents being killed in front of her. And she came here by herself, didn't know any English, and found her way in the United States. Spending time with my students feels almost parallel to get to know and spend time with my great-grandparents.
Name one of the 2 longest rivers in the United States. Mississippi or Missouri. Citizens. When we moved here, we had a lot of help. Literally everything, we would not have been able to do any of it on our own. And so we're so grateful to this community that helped us and all of the volunteers that helped us. And so this is a nice way for me to carry on that tradition and help the next people who are coming. We vote for president in November. Largest state, Independence Day. I understand everyone is busy. I'm busy too. I'm a lawyer at Google, but I make it a priority to volunteer, and JFCS makes it easy. People are so willing to work with you. I definitely think I get more out of it than what I put in, and you're making a huge difference in people's lives, and it's an incredible feeling.
JFCS reaches across all generations, from caring for the elderly with programs like L'Haim and Seniors at Home, to helping children and families with special needs, to providing financial assistance to college students and families in times of financial crisis, to even responding to last year's Northern California wildfires with emergency support for families who lost everything. JFCS truly changes lives. From our parents and grandparents, to those of us who came as children, and now to our children, so that together we're truly one family and one community.